Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm sure it's not your first time here. I'm Ryan. On this channel, I react to stuff from the UK and take quizzes about it and stuff, embarrass myself. Anyway, don't move to England if from Adventures and Naps. I like that name. So this is a video about, don't move to England apparently if you are these things. So let's see. I'm hoping I'm not these things.
So this week we are going to talk about don't move to England if. So I have some personality traits and some specific mindset kind of things that I think are really important to have if you are interested in moving here to England. And if you don't have them, then maybe don't move here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alana and I'm a Canadian, but I've been living here in the southeast of England for the last 5 years.
Wow.
So some of these I've learned the hard way, and I'd like to share them with you guys.
Okay, so this is interesting. Someone who's not from England, so it's an outsider's perspective. Perfect.
Without further ado, let's go. So first up, don't come to England if you are running away from your problems, because they'll just come with you. I think social media and movies and TV and all that kind of stuff.
I was going to say maybe, certain problems, I bet you moving to England would get you away from them, like a crazy family situation. It might work.
Really glamorizes moving abroad, moving to England. You know, you're starting over, you're starting fresh, you're having a new adventure and all that fun stuff. But it is very important to remember that if you are looking to move to England specifically because you'd really like to run away from some certain problems, please just know that they will likely come with you. So for example, I deal with anxiety. I dealt with it back in Ontario, Canada,
Yes.
and my home.
That's an example of something that you can't probably run away from.
And when I moved to England, I brought it with me. So whether you are dealing with a particular mental health issue.
That makes a lot of sense. At first I was like, you kind of could run away from, if your problems are with people who are here, going across the ocean might help. And never talking to them again.
Or something in your personal life or your job, or you're unhappy with who you are, or a whole variety
that
of
makes
things.
Sense.
And you think that going to England, you're kind of...
I definitely know those kind of people who think that moving, even if it's not all the way to England, but they think moving is gonna, I just need to get out of this town and then I'll be happy. Maybe, probably not.
Getting away from it, just remember, it will come with you. So, something to keep in mind. Don't move to England if you are incapable or unwilling to adapt, because it's pretty much necessary. So on this channel, we do a lot of cultural comparison kind of things, and I'll talk about how...
The good thing about me is I like to the things I do are mostly not with a bunch of people. So therefore, I won't need to adapt as much. But there might be some things I'm not, even familiar with, that I'm not taking into consideration.
Certain things are done here in the UK, and I'll get comments from people being like, that's so stupid, that's dumb, I'd never do it like that. That's lame, that's super inefficient. Wow, that's so old, I can't believe they still do it like that. That makes no sense. Why would you do it like that? I'd never do it like that. That seems stupid. And while I love talking about cultural differences on this YouTube channel, this is obviously not real life. So when I turn the camera off, I live my actual life like a British person. So I try my best to speak how a British person would, interact with other people like a British person would.
Does she actually mean with an accent?
I try to conform to society norms and cultural expectations, and I at least try to assimilate as best as I can, because I think that is extremely important. So if you are unable or unwilling to do so, maybe
that sounds fun to me. So that's
don't
fine.
move here. I would expect the same thing if a British person was moving to Canada or moving to America. I would expect that person to adapt, to assimilate to an American way of life.
I'm hoping she gets onto some things that are more specific to the UK or England.
That is what...
so far you could say this about anyone moving anywhere.
What is respectful, that's kind of what's expected. You don't want to be that person who is constantly like, oh, this is stupid, this is dumb, why do you do it that way, that's so annoying, I never want to do it this way, my country does it better, my country, England is way more efficient, we discovered that stuff. We know how to do it better than you guys. Stop. Nobody likes you. Now, as an immigrant, you do kind of face like an existential crisis, which is very exciting. So of course, I don't want to be someone that I'm not. I don't want to change who I am as a person, right? I am Canadian. I'm always going to be Canadian. I am never going to be English. I'm never going to be British. I am Canadian. That's who I am. However, I do live in England, so I need to be respectful. I need to assimilate as best I can, do the best that I can.
I feel like if she lived there long enough and she's a British citizen, then she'd be English. Am I wrong in thinking that? I mean, maybe she doesn't want to be, but I would consider her English if she was there for 20 years.
You know,
or even let's say 8 years. If you live there for 8 years,
that's all you can ask for. I'm not going to pretend to be British or pretend to be English, because that's a bit weird.
But you're also still Canadian.
But I want to act in a way that is respectful and that I can adapt to society here. Does that make sense? Hi, I'm sitting over here, which means this is the part of the video where I beg you to subscribe. Could you subscribe? It would be
sure.
It would just make my absolute
I don't want you to have to beg.
If you could subscribe or leave a thumbs up on a video or leave a comment. It's kind of shocking how much that actually helps.
Thumbs up.
Not just for me, but for any YouTube channel that you watch. If you want to support them, a thumbs up,
she's
a
not
comment,
wrong.
and a
subscription
okay. Is super helpful. And I'd really appreciate it. All right, that's the end of this bit. Don't move to England if you are unwilling or unable to get out of your comfort zone, because it's going to happen a lot. A huge part of being an expat or an immigrant, I mean in any country, is you are pretty much forced out of your comfort zone. It can be very awkward and embarrassing and uncomfortable, but it is kind of a job requirement of being an expat.
Yeah. Who would move to a different country unless they want to be outside their comfort zone? You better be wanting that.
Especially at the beginning, when you first move abroad, everything is going to feel weird and strange, and you're not going to know what's expected of you. You're not going to know those unwritten cultural norms. Those are only things that you can pick up after being there for a long time. So you have to just sort of accept the fact that when you first move anywhere, but specifically in this case into England, you have to expect that you are going to be out of your comfort zone a lot of the time. And it can get very tiring, and it can get very anxiety inducing, but it is part of the job of being an expat, and you really have to just come to terms with it. Even in situations where, say, you get a job in England, you may be the only foreigner or the only person from your country in that workplace. You are a novelty.
It means you're special.
People may not have even met someone from your country or have known someone from your country, and it's all a bit weird and awkward, and it's very much putting you out of your comfort.
Okay. I feel like that's a little bit of like self-consciousness, slipping through there. Sounds like, because I can almost guarantee that anyone, if you don't, most people, if you're meeting someone from a different country, if there's a new worker in your office, if some new worker here in Indiana came in to the office that I work at and they were British, they'd be a celebrity, okay? That would not be awkward. That would be really cool. Now, maybe it would be like, obviously anybody has awkward moments. Sure. But overall, that would just be really cool.
Comfort zone. You're not going to understand all those particular situations or those cultural norms, but you really just got to go with it. Just accept the fact that it's going to be awkward and just do your best. That's really all you can do. Don't move to England if you are unable to do things on your own. Now, I know there are a lot of people who just refuse to do things alone, and that's just not gonna fly.
Why?
So you need to be somewhat comfortable in doing things.
I'm wondering why that's any different than, Canada. Why do you need to be able to do anything on your own? there, but not in Canada.
By yourself. Of course, it's not ideal. You know, best case scenario is you make some friends and you can do things with your friends or a significant other, of course. But the reality is, especially if you are moving to England alone, you need to be able to do things alone. So whether that's going to the cinema, going to a cafe, or going out for lunch by yourself, going to a castle or a historical monument, or doing day trips by yourself. If you are unable to do things by yourself, you are going to miss out on so much of life here in England. So yeah,
I'm a little bit befuddled, if I do say so myself, why that's specific to England. Is it just because is it just that if you move to any country where you don't know anybody, you're gonna probably have to do some stuff by yourself? Is that what she means? Or is she talking about England?
yes, I hope that you can make friends as quickly as possible and you'll have friends to go do things with, but you do need to be comfortable to some extent on doing things alone. Don't move to England if you can't handle the darkness. Yep, I'm gonna talk about the weather again. I can't help myself. Wintertime here in England can be so dark. So shockingly dark, and there's no way around it.
What does that mean?
So if you can't handle that, you should probably stay home. I've seen someone...
Is it? Oh my gosh, this sounds very scary, you know? What does she mean? Like, England... I wonder what, how long is the sun out in England during winter? Can Google answer a question like this? Oh, okay. In December, the night lasts 17 hours. Okay. And okay. The sun rises at 6:30. So if it lasts 7 hours, wow. Nighttime is 17 hours during the winter? Holy mother. 47 hours of sun in December? It's like less than 2 hours a day. Oh my God. That's insane. I didn't know that at all. Huh. I mean, it's pretty much irrelevant to me. I don't... Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much irrelevant to me. I don't mind it being dark, but that's just crazy.
Winter days where it doesn't get light out till like 8 a.m. and then the sun starts going down at like 3:30.
That's amazing.
In the afternoon. So the sun could be fully gone, it's completely dark by 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So for me, as a Canadian living in England, I bought a sad light, and I would definitely recommend it. But I would absolutely recommend taking vitamin D3 throughout the wintertime. That's what I do. It makes a big difference. Because, wow, it can get dark, you guys. Don't move to England if you are not willing to fight for a job. Now, when I first moved to England, I was pretty naive, all right? I was young, okay? It was a long time ago. But I applied for jobs here in England that I had already done in Canada. I was a level above these jobs, right? So I was coming to England, I was applying for jobs that were below what I was doing in Canada. I thought, I'm gonna be a shoo-in, this is easy. I'm here on a valid working visa. I've done these types of jobs before. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I was rejected for all of them. So I don't want to scare foreigners or expats away from coming to England. Of course not.
Is it just that competitive in England? Or do they not like foreigners?
Love it here. It's
They don't like Canadians. That's what it is. Those damn Canadians.
one of my most treasured experiences of my whole life. But I think it is helpful to be aware that it is very difficult to get a job as a foreigner, even if you have experience, even if you have, your valid working visa, you're allowed to be here.
I would think you'd have to get a job. I mean, most people, I feel like, you'd have to get a job secured before you move there. This girl's crazy. She moved there without a job? That's some, That's some adventurous type stuff. I wouldn't do that. I guess if I was like really young, if I was like 19, because then you could just like be a barista or something, or a waiter, and get by and be that'd be cool. But if you're trying to get like a job in a specific field, especially if you have a family or something, yeah, I would get a job before I went there.
Work here, it's very difficult. So I think knowing that kind of helps the sting of rejection. If you expect it, you know it's going to happen, but you also need to know that you need to fight for a job quite a bit harder than you would in your home country. And I would absolutely recommend that you have like 2 or 3 months worth of savings to live off when you first come to England, so you have that time to find a job.
If you moved to a different country across an ocean and you don't have 2 months of savings and no job, you have no job secured there, and you don't have 2 months of savings or 3 months of savings, you're out of your mind. That's what she's trying to say, I think. You'd have to be out of your mind. I don't know who needs to hear this, but don't move to England without a job and without 2 months of savings. Or do, it's your life.
Because it can be really difficult. Not impossible. And I've got loads of videos about getting a job and that kind of stuff, so it's not impossible, but it is tough. So I think if you go into it knowing that you really have to fight for it, makes it easier. No, but it helps with the rejection if you can expect it.
Why is
I think a big part of being an
this is like a sad video, like about how dark it is and how you get rejected from all your jobs and stuff. It's not making me want to move to England too bad. I feel like England is really cool. Maybe this video is just like, it is about, don't move to England if this and that. So it's just a sad video.
expat
I need to like watch something else to balance this out about how cool England is.
or a foreigner in England.
Oh, I've disappeared. Oh, great. I've started flashing. One sec. I'm back. Okay. I charged up my camera. My son's diaper got a nice change. And I am tired. So let's finish out this video. And then we're going to bed.
I think a big part
Where were
of
we?
being an expat or a foreigner in England is to have the willingness and the ability to go with the flow. And there are definitely people who do not have that. So I think you can be quite successful as an expat
That's definitely true.
in England if you move here really with an open mind, with the willingness to try new things.
If you're like, I don't know, not ambitious, but adventurous enough to be going and moving to a new country, you probably have what it takes, I feel like, to go with the flow.
With the ability to be out of your comfort zone. It really does make a big difference.
Definitely not for
It is
everybody.
very scary at first, of course, but just being able to go with the flow genuinely makes things a lot easier. And of course, knowing that the way you live your life in your home country is not necessarily how people live their lives in England. And neither way is necessarily right or wrong, but having that ability just to be open to new experiences, to new ways of doing things or saying things or interacting with people, just having that willingness and that ability you just need it, okay? It makes things so much better, I promise you. So those are some personality traits and some mindsets that I think are really, really important to have if you plan on moving to England. If you listened to this video and found that a lot of those things you are not willing to do or not capable or able to do, maybe don't move to England.
That's funny. That someone would, like some dreams were crushed, watching this video.
But I hope you guys like this video. I really appreciate all your wonderful support and your nice comments and your thumbs up and your subscriptions. It means so much to me. I can't get over it, all right? I've been here for a long time. I've been making videos for a long time, and it never gets old.
I hear that. And hey, I appreciate You miss Adventures in Naps. I like that name. She has a lot of videos that look interesting. So I'll probably be watching some more of her videos. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I sure did. I'm gonna be watching more videos about like don't move to England. Maybe more of hers that are more specific to England. I definitely most shocking thing, and it was the thing that was most specific to England was about how dark it gets. I didn't know that. That's crazy in the winter time. 7-hour days. Oh my god, that's wild. I hope the ski slopes have lights. You guys have a lot of ski slopes in England? I don't know. Uh, have a great day, everybody. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you're there. I'll be there. Goodbye.